great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. But yeah, right now, I mean,
Welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. It's your boy, Jim Hacking. Today is February 10th, 2025. It is an auspicious day here at Hacking Immigration Law. Today is the birthday of my beautiful wife, Amani, and Andrew, one of our awesome attorneys here in the office. Today is their birthday. We're just celebrating upstairs. So wish them all happy good wishes, if you don't mind. This is episode 759 of the show. I'll be here for the next hour trying to answer all of your immigration law-related questions. How's everybody doing? How was your weekend? What do you think about that Super Bowl? I sure was glad to see the Chiefs get their butts kicked. I was especially pleased because Donald Trump was rooting for them. So by definition, I was rooting against them. But I generally don't like Kansas City sports fans. I find them annoying and bandwagon jumpers. So, you know, when I was a kid, the Chiefs were terrible. You could get tickets very cheaply. Nobody cared about the Chiefs. Same with the Royals. The only time people in Kansas City care about sports is when their team is winning. So I was glad to see the Eagles do so well. And we had fun watching the game, Nor and Amani and I. All right. Not what I thought was going to happen, but that is what happened. So any loss for Donald Trump is a win for the rest of the world. Let's go to SimGirl1 and get this thing started. Hello? SimGirl1, you're on mute. Hello, SimGirl1. Going once, going twice. Yeah, that's one of the problems with coming to the waiting room too early is then you're not ready when I call on you. Real name, hello.
Hey, Jim.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
All right. So, well, my situation is not very complicated, but I just wanted to get your opinion on something. So, we've been in the U.S. for about 4 years. We're about to hit our 5 years mark with a green card in August. So, I'll be eligible to apply for naturalization in May. And so, one of the things that I'm concerned about is the address change. So, when we first came into the U.S., we were not aware that we needed to update our address with USCIS 10 days after moving. And so we didn't do that. But then 3 years into our green card, I learned about it and then I went ahead and changed it. So do you think this would be grounds to deny my N400?
No.
Okay. The other thing is, given the current political climate and there's also this executive order that Trump signed into law that is being dubbed the Travel Ban 2.0. He has also, as part of this executive order, tasked some of the federal agencies to come up with a list of countries that will basically, complicate, it will make their screening more, much longer, I guess.
Well, that's for visas, not for people getting their citizenship. That's not for people getting their citizenship.
Okay, so you don't think it will apply to our situation?
Not for people applying for citizenship. Nope.
Okay, yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, good luck with citizenship. Let us know when you get sworn in, okay?
Will do. Thanks.
Thanks. All right, I'm gonna go to Jose, and then after Jose, I'll go to Kim if she turns off her camera. So Jose,
Hello?
you're up next. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, how are you, Jim? Good.
I'm great. How are you doing?
Jim, just a quick question. I submitted my adjustment of status case July 1st, 2024.
Okay.
A couple weeks later, I got the biometrics appointment. Literally the day after the biometrics, I got the approval for the employment authorization. Nothing happened. I submitted all additional evidence. Nothing happened until January 29th, almost 2 weeks ago, where I got my I-130 approval. It was approved, but only the I-130. My question is, now it's only the I-485 pending. Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? It means something. The fact that they only approved the I-130. Right now it says on the progress it says 8 months, and it's on stage like case decision, and that's it.
Well, I don't think you need to be worried about much. I mean, the fact is your case has only been pending for about 6 or 7 months, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I made a video a little while ago, about a month ago. It's called I-130 approved, I-45 not approved. And so what I said in that video is, any guesses that you would have as to why they didn't just go ahead and approve the 45? So there must be something that they're concerned about, whether or not you're admissible.
Okay. Okay.
So is there anything you can think of?
Honestly, no. Nothing. I don't have
Never
any criminal records. I don't have any like problems of any kind. So
Never been out of status?
yeah, I was out of status.
Okay, so then don't go around saying I don't have any issues. That's an issue.
I mean,
What
currently, like, yeah, I overstayed my visa. That's the main situation.
Okay, so if you go into an interview and say, no, I've never had any immigration problems, but in fact you overstayed your visa, they're going to crucify you for that. So you got to be very precise with your language.
Oh, okay.
What kind of a visa did you have?
Tourist. Like
when did you come to the United States?
2016.
And when did you get married?
Last year.
So you were out of status for 8 years.
Yeah, almost 8 years. Yeah.
How do you figure that's not nothing? I just don't get
No. I thought you were talking about like criminal cases or something like that.
Okay. And when you came on your visit visa in those 8 years, did you work?
Yeah.
Did you tell them that you worked when you filled out your 45?
I think so.
Well, that's something to check, because if you worked without permission and you said, no, I never worked without permission, and no, I never violated the terms of my visa, then you have problems, because that's not a correct answer. So
I'm pretty sure I would told them that I worked.
We told them? You mean on the form?
On the form, yeah.
Okay. So this is why they approved your I-130 and your 45.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why. So they're worried that, when you get married 8 years out of status, that's like number one on the fraud list, right? Like, because you have an immigration problem, and then you married a U.S. citizen, which could, in theory, yeah, Raphael, I'm getting there next, buddy, could, in theory, clean up your immigration problem. So when you arrived for your visit, how soon after arriving did you start working?
Like 2 months, 3 months after that.
So you came on a visit and then you started working. Who did you work for? Was it somebody that you knew before, or did you just find a job here?
I found a job here.
And did you tell your employer, or have you ever told anybody that you were already a U.S. citizen?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
How did you work if you didn't have work authorization and you didn't tell people you were a citizen?
It was in construction.
Okay. So I would suspect that you're going to get an interview, especially now that Trump's in office. And you got to be very careful with how you answered those questions and how you answer those questions at your interview.
Okay.
All right.
Just one last question. Regarding to this 485, is it helpful? I have more evidence that I can present. Is it helpful to like submit that evidence online?
Evidence about you working without permission, or evidence about your marriage?
Marriage, like
they already proved it. You don't need to update. You don't need to upload any evidence if they already approved your I-130.
Oh, okay. So the evidence is basically only related to the I-130 then.
If what you're saying is, Jim, should I upload evidence about my I-130, which has already been approved? My answer to that question is no.
Okay, perfect. That's it, Jim. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you, brother.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. This is the Immigration Answer Show. I see my buddy Brent Daniel Shealy in the house. What's up, BDS? Terry Lynn Tyler was here on Saturday. That was fun. And she was even commenting and paying attention. So that was fun. All right. Kim, if you turn off your camera, I'll pull you up. Kim is talking. Kim. All right, here we go. No. Camera off, Kim. Camera is on. All right. We'll come back just to confuse the authorities. Tandy is here. Hello, Tandy.
Hi, Jim. Good day.
Good day to you.
Happy birthday to your wife.
It's an auspicious day. Yes, indeed.
Okay. I have a question. Um, I had filed a I-130 alien relative, I think is a form, to petition for my two sons who is back in the Caribbean in
Great.
2023. Last year, November, I became a US citizen,
Great.
and I think I made a mistake by getting a name change. So now I don't know what to do. How do I go about it? Because the case is still under review. It's going to be under review 2 years now, March. So I don't
So
know what to do.
the name change is probably not that big of a deal. How old are your sons?
Well, one now become 22. I'm going to be 22 this year, but when I petitioned, one was 20 and the other one was 19.
Okay. And have you notified USCIS that you are a U.S. citizen? Even though USCIS is the one that naturalized you, have you notified them in your children's cases that you are now a U.S. citizen?
I tried calling the number. I'm not getting through, so I don't know how to do it. What do I need to do? I don't know.
So you need to figure out where the cases are still at USCIS, right?
Well, I checked the status online and it's telling me case under review. You don't need to submit anything at this point.
Yeah, but what I mean is they haven't approved the I-130s. That you.
No, they didn't approve.
Mhm. Okay. So what I would do is I would call USCIS and I would find out which office is processing your case. If you can check online, check online. You need to know where the file is because you need to notify them that you have become a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
'Cause
But they're
even though,
not answering the phone. You calling, nobody answer. I called in since last year, November. They're not
well,
answering the call.
I don't. Okay. So if you wait about 2 minutes in the comments, people will start telling you how to get through to a live person at USCIS. I don't ever do that, so I don't know how it works, but I think there's some buttons you can push and some things you can say. I think you ask for a live agent and then you say info pass is what I think you do, but people in the comments will say how to get a hold of a live person. You should check online. So just try to figure out where the case is pending. And then what you're going to do is send a copy of your naturalization certificate with the receipt notices for the I-130s for each kid to them and say, hey, yo, I'm a U.S. citizen and I've been a U.S. citizen since such and such a day. Yeah, Carol, they said just say info pass is all you have to do when you call, and then that'll get you a live person. And so
Is it
find out
something
where.
that would handle if
Oh,
I'm
sure,
not
yes.
getting through? Could
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get an attorney?
Yeah, we can help. Sure. I think you probably want some help because I think for the 22-year-old, you're going to have to prove to them that he didn't age out. So yeah, I think getting our help would be good. Just send us an email, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Let me write it down because I really think I need to go to the
Yeah.
legal route.
In fact,
Info.
the first person, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. It's right there on the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
One of the first commenters about calling InfoPass is somebody here in the office. So it's all good.
I'm gonna reach out to your office because I think I need to. Yeah, I think I need to put it in the attorney hand right now.
Thanks, Tandy. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna reach out. Appreciate
See
it.
ya. Okay, bye-bye. All right. That was fun. All right, let's go to Kim.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
Awesome. So I spoke to you back in the month of October.
Okay.
Actually, it might have been in August or July. And I had advanced parole. I traveled with it, came back. Thank God, I'm still alive and I'm here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was scary, but I did it because I had a sick relative I had to go see. Anyway, where I'm at right now is recently USCIS came out with the new rule that, not rule, but they decided that COVID vaccines were not an issue at this point. Now, before I had my I-130 was already approved. My I-485 was only held up because of that vaccination matter.
Okay.
Now, given that law has changed about COVID vaccine, before that had happened, I had requested an I-601 waiver for vaccination.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now wouldn't it be contradictory for me to then say, okay, I've gone ahead and taken vaccines now, while I already asked for a waiver to get vaccination waiver? So would it be contradictory for me to go get vaccines and send them the documents and say, hey, I'm suing you guys to hasten this process because I've given you what you needed?
So let me make sure that I understand your question, okay?
Mhm.
So you have an approved I-130 and a pending 485.
Yes.
Let's just say there's 6 vaccinations that you have to have. You were unwilling to get the COVID vaccine, and so you applied for a 601 waiver to keep you from having to get any vaccines. And now that they've gotten rid of the COVID vaccine requirement, you're willing to do the other vaccines that you weren't willing to do before. Is that the gist of it?
Right, because I went under the advice I was given, maybe it was bad advice, is you couldn't say quarantine.
No, that's fine. But just to be clear,
Correct.
what you're saying is there's more than one vaccine that you haven't gotten yet, right?
That's right.
Okay. So now you're willing to do all of them except for the one.
Right, because it's not necessary at this point.
See, the problem is, I don't know if you've watched the show for a while, but these guys are so slow to react. Like, to get them to pay attention to what you're now willing to do is different, if that makes sense, right? So
yeah.
So you've sort of pointed your ship to 601 land, and now you need them to, I mean, in theory, what you could do is withdraw the 601, and I actually, that isn't what I would do. First, if you're going to do this, and I don't know if you'll ever get them to pay attention to what you're going to try to do, but if you were to do that, you would want to go ahead and get the medical without the COVID vaccine, have the doctor seal it, send it into your USCIS, and then once you know they have it, then withdraw the waiver. I think that's the only way you're going to get them to pay attention.
Okay, and then one last question. I know my EAB card will be expiring in the month of September, and so I know I need to renew it at least, as it say, 6 months, 180 days.
Yeah.
So should I still go ahead with that renewal as I'm still waiting as I'm thinking about doing that I-601 withdrawal?
Yeah. I mean, because at 601, it takes 2 or 3 years. So did you apply before April 1st last year or after April 1st last year?
Before April 1st. Oh, for the waiver was before. Are you asking about the marriage?
The 45 and the 765, you filed before April 1st, right?
I filed them back in 2023. This was around March.
So your EAD, if you were to renew that EAD, it wouldn't cost you anything, because that's the old rule.
Okay.
So I would say yes, but also there's an automatic extension of the EAD if you're in the category that you're in. So I don't think you really need to worry about it, but I would do it anyway.
Okay. All right. Thanks. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Kim. See you, bud.
See ya.
All right. What's everybody doing? I love having David in the comments, but sometimes I'm trying to talk to one person and following what David and other people are texting. And it's better for me to just pay attention to the caller. All right. We got some TikTok questions. User 926, does Asylum or VAWA approval remove any permanent immigration barriers? Married to U.S. citizen I-130. That is hard to answer. I'm not sure exactly what is being asked. So VAWA and Asylum can clean up a lot of things, but then I don't know why you would need the marriage to a U.S. citizen with an I-130. Or if you're asking if an asylum case fixes problems that might keep you from getting a green card, I don't know. Maybe. The Chosen, can 2 speeding tickets affect the N400 application? No arrest was made. It depends on the officer, I would say. Shouldn't. Hope for tomorrow. What happens if your green card is revoked because you voted in elections? My friend did it and wants to know if he can get his green card back. Hope for tomorrow. For that question, I would want to see all of their paperwork. I'd want to see what the decision was and how his green card was obtained by them. because that's going to impact my answer. Nadia, I'm a U.S. citizen and applied for my husband's I-130 last year in June. He left me, and we have a 2-month-old son. What can I do? Well, if he's here in the United States and he doesn't have his green card, then you could, in theory, withdraw the I-130. If he's already here and has a green card, there's not much you can do. User 8373, I-751 denied and refiled. Can I travel with I-551 stamp? Only if you're a fool. Do not do that. Do not leave. You know who's in charge of the White House right now? You know who's in charge of the border? These are crazy people. You want to tempt fate by leaving with a denied 751? No 751 should be denied. No 751 should be denied. So if your 751 was denied, that means there's big problems. So don't do that. All right. Let's go to Pick Me Jim, please. Hello.
Hey, Jim.
What's up?
Oh, I'm good. It's been a minute. Thank you for taking me. So there's a question for my friend. So my friend came into America on an F1 visa in 2022. He got married in 2023. His wife filed for an adjustment of status and everything in 2024. Then
Wait,
somewhere late
what kind of visa did he come on?
on an F1 visa for school.
Did he go to school?
Yeah, he did. And he graduated in 2023.
Okay, but is he still in school, or did he stop going to school once he got married?
He graduated. So he finished when he got married, because he got married in March 2023, and he graduated in May in the same year.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So his spouse filed for him.
Yeah. So his spouse filed for him. Then last year she wrote a letter to USCIS to withdraw the case. So USCIS, and then she just served him with a divorce after like separating for about 6 months. So USCIS already served him a denial for his I-485. And now he just wants to know like what his options are, if he can go back to school, just to be legal or something now.
Well, has he maintained his F1 status? No, he hasn't. He graduated and.
Yeah, he graduated, but his visa, his F1 visa expires in December this year. So do you think he can?
That doesn't matter. So when did she file the I-130 and the 485?
It was last in March 2024, just before April 1st, like the whole increase in the USS thing.
Oh, so he was out of status.
No, he had his OPT for 1 year because he was in a STEM program.
Okay, so his OPT ends in like
2024,
May of 24, May or June of 24, and she
right.
applies in March before the fee increase, and then the case is pending until, let's say, January or February of this year, and then she withdraws the I-130.
Yeah, she withdrew the I-130 in October last year.
And when was the 485 denied?
December 10th.
December 10th?
Yeah.
So he's out of status at least since December 10th.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think they'll let him change his status inside the United States to a B1, B2, or to an F1? I don't think so. He can try it, but I don't think it's going to get approved.
So with regards to an F1, even if like he gets into school, he needs to go out to get like another F1 visa, correct?
Yeah, but he's demonstrated immigrant intent. He filed a 485.
Oh,
he's
okay.
Rung the bell to say, I want to live here the rest of my life. And when you ring that bell and say you want to live here the rest of your life, then they don't give you F1s or B1s anymore. He can try it, but I think the chances are very slim.
Okay. So, because it means if he tries this, then he probably goes out to another Canada or something to get an F1 visa. There's a possibility he can be locked out there.
Well, Canada and Mexico, they're sort of done playing that game of doing visas for people from other countries. So most likely he'd have to go back to his own country. I don't think Canada would do that for him anyway.
Okay. So what do you probably advise at this point? Like,
he doesn't have much. I mean, he's demonstrated immigrant intent. He let his status lapse on his F1. He didn't keep his options open, so now he can either leave or if he gets married at some point in the future and it's a real marriage, he could try again. But now he's got a withdrawn case, and most likely she was bad mouthing him as she withdrew the case. So probably not good.
Wait, can you take the last part again? What was no good?
I would, in my experience, when U.S. citizens, this would be a good topic. In my experience, when U.S. citizens withdraw an I-130 for their spouse, it's because they're pissed off at their spouse. And when they're pissed off at their spouse and they withdraw the I-130, like that lady that called yesterday and said that she sent evidence to USCIS that her husband was cheating on her, when those kinds of things happen, and the spouses don't usually withdraw the I-130s just because. Usually it's because they're mad and because they want to harm the immigrant's ability to stay in the United States. So what I'm saying is, it probably wasn't just a straight I-130 withdrawal. She probably said bad things about the person.
Yeah, so I have access to the letter she sent to USCIS on the portal, and it was just she telling them that she wants to withdraw the case for personal reasons.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, good luck. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Jay. Did we go to Jay already? Jay, are you there? I can't remember.
Hello.
Hi, Jay.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me up.
Yep.
So just a couple questions. I have an N400 application that I filed last year in July, and I think concurrently in 2023, I had filed an I-751. So the I-751 is still pending, and I guess it's been about 7 months now for the N400 application. On the my progress tab, I know you usually say not to pay attention to that, but it says about 2 months counting down. And my question would be, or a couple questions. One question is, do you expect it to be an interview for both the I-751 and the N400?
So the thing that I wanted to clarify was, you said you filed them concurrently, but what you mean is you filed the 751 and then a year later you filed the naturalization, right?
Correct. Yes.
So that they're both pending concurrently at the same time.
Yes. Yep.
So this is probably the topic that I've talked about the most, other than Nigerian divorces, on this show and in general. But basically, my position is that you should file the N400 and not wait for the 751 to get approved. So I'm glad you did that. Okay.
Okay.
But the cost of doing that is really weird shit happens when it comes times for interview, right?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, I've had all of the following scenarios happen. You ready?
Yep.
So with people who have a 751 and another good topic, thank you for that. When people have a 751 and an N400 pending, I've had them show up without their spouse, and the officer wants to do a 751 interview. I've had them show up with the spouse, and the officers don't care that the spouse is there. I've had them show up with the spouse, and the officer says, I can do your N400, but I don't have your 751 file, which makes no sense. Or vice versa. I can do your 751, but I can't do your N400. Or I don't necessarily like your marriage, so I might not just go ahead and do the N400. So when I say all that, it means you got to be ready for anything.
Okay.
So what that means is, bring your spouse, bring some more updated evidence, because if you're applying on the 3-year rule, the fact that you've lived together in marital union for 3 years is important. So you need all that stuff. Got it.
Oh, okay. Great. Thanks. And that's good to know. And the other thing I guess was in regards to things like moral character for the N400 interview. I have a speeding ticket from 2021, New Year's Eve, and for that, and I also have another speeding ticket from a longer time ago, from 2014, and I was able to. Both of them were taken care of. Both of them I got them moved down to like a parking ticket, used a lawyer, and those were cleared. And I have the documentation from the second one, which is the most recent one. From the first, I've been trying to locate it. I asked the same lawyers that I use, and they can't find it. So I guess my question is, should I be taking both of them, since the moral character goes back 3 years, if I recall, or 3 or 5 years, depending on which rule you're applying under. So
if you can try to get the old one, keep pounding on it. I would try to figure out what court it was, or police department, if you can, that.
Yeah.
But I think, you're saying it's like 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Yep.
In my experience, most officers, if you say that it's from 10 years ago and I took care of it, that's going to satisfy 95% of the officers.
Okay. And then just bring the most recent one that I had. Okay.
Yeah. So the way I would handle that at the interview is, have you ever been arrested, cited, charged, or detained? No, I haven't been arrested, charged, or detained. I did receive citations, one in 2013, one in 2023. And I paid both of them, and then be quiet. And then if they ask for it, like, don't pull out the 2023 stuff, because then they might make them ask for 2013. Just let them ask for it if they actually do. Got
it. Okay, great. Because that was part of my other question, was on the form itself. I said I hadn't been arrested, and I'm just thinking about this ticket, and I'm like, when it comes to that,
everybody gets that. Everybody, that's fine. Not a big deal.
Thank you.
Okay. See you, buddy.
Yep.
Hey, Robert, I was thinking Saturday morning. I didn't realize. I thought you were in straight up San Diego. So if it's hard, don't worry about it. If you can come down, that'd be great. If you don't want to, that's okay too. So just let me know. And you're on my list of people to text, so I will do that, Robert. All right. Let's see. Tyler is here. Hello, Tyler.
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Great. What's going on with you?
Not much. Just enjoyed watching the Chiefs get whooped on last night.
Wasn't that fun? What was your favorite? My favorite was when that big lineman hit Patrick's leg and it made his throw off, and the linebacker caught it. That was fun.
Yeah, I love the pick six. Everything. I enjoyed the whole game. It was great.
Yep. I mean, so I threw something at the television and cussed when the ref called that offensive pass interference. But I think it really fired up the Eagles. I mean, I think they were fired up anyway, but I was like, oh man, here we go. It's rigged again for the Chiefs.
Right.
And then they just stormed back.
Yep. I thought the same thing, but it was good. It wasn't like that.
What's up?
But yeah, I got a little story. So my then girlfriend overstayed her B2 visa because we planned on getting married, and I kind of kept hesitating. So then she decided to leave and go back to Mexico. I realized, my mistake. So then I flew to Mexico. We got married. And then we went to go back to the United States. But then they kicked us off the plane, basically.
Yep.
So then, being a U.S. citizen, I thought, okay, I'll go to the U.S. Embassy. And I did. And they basically could not help me. So my wife was able to go in, and they tore her visa up. And then, so now we're basically trying with the I-130. And
wait, time out. Here's, what the $1 million question is, right? How long did she overstay?
Like 145 days.
So under 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So just like wondering if there's anything we can do to help get it approved, or kind of what challenges we're going to face. And now we have a daughter together. I don't know if that helps.
Man, oh man. Well, congrats on the daughter. But so you guys have this long-term relationship, right?
Yeah, it was 3.5 years.
And she would come and visit and go back on time every time, right?
Yes.
And then she comes, and you guys never get around to filing the I-130, and then she goes back home. So as of right now, there's nothing on file.
Well, no, I mean, I filed the I-130. We planned on getting married there, and I just kind of kept hesitating because I was kind of unsure about it. So
You filed the I-130 before before
No,
she left?
after we got married here, so just a few months ago, like 4 or 5 months ago.
So after all this stuff where they took her off the plane.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're just, I mean, you got a 3-year wait probably for her coming back.
Because I mean, on the USCIS portal, it says like it keeps jumping from like 2 months to 4 weeks to 2 months, and just kind of keep jumping back.
Well, that's all made up bullshit. That doesn't mean anything. And so, number one, they're going to be confused about your wife's situation because of her history coming back and forth. But generally, I would say 90% of I-130s for spouses aways take about 14 to 16 months. So some people hit the lottery and get the I-130 approved in like 2 or 3 months, but that's almost always I-130s where the spouse is in the United States and they're super clean cases. So I don't think this is a super clean case anymore. It probably would have been, but now it's not. So you're talking 16 months at USCIS, 4 or 5 months at the National Visa Center, and then you're waiting a full year or more for Juarez to give her an interview appointment.
Okay. And then under unsolicited evidence, I tried like being proactive. So I submitted a letter explaining the overstay, but I think I might have messed up by like saying that we planned on getting married when we were there. So like I hesitated. So I think I might have,
Wait, you're saying that okay. So you wrote this letter explaining what happened, and in the letter, did you say that she came on that visit to get married, or that when she was here, you guys were going to get married, and that's what caused the delay? Because it's all about her intent at the time she entered.
Yeah, no, I didn't say anything about her intent at the time before. It was like we thought about like getting married when
like she overstayed because we thought we were going to get married.
Yeah, and I'm basically like I hesitated, so then it kind of caused these delays, and then kind of created the overstay. And then when
so
we basically
sort of fell on the sword and blamed yourself.
Yeah, basically. So then it was kind of like, but when she realized like I wasn't going to go through with it, she voluntarily like just left.
Oh, she was mad at you?
Yeah.
Got it. She thought you weren't going to ever pull the trigger.
Yeah, basically.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know if you want a lawyer's help, but at some point you might need it. But I don't think that letter in and of itself, I'll just say this, it could have been worse, right?
Right. Yeah. So you just think it's going to take a long time?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's definitely going to take a long time. To me, the letter, that's one of these things I tell people on the show all the time, and I'll just use it now as an example to reinforce the point, which is don't ever say things to them that you don't have to. Nobody asked about why she overstayed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nope.
I thought
so you could have made it a lot worse by that letter. It sounds like you didn't make it all that bad, but you could have made it a whole lot worse, right? So people, here's a couple rules. Don't send things that they don't ask for. Don't answer questions that they didn't ask, and definitely don't do anything beyond what's asked without talking to a lawyer.
Right. Yeah,
Thanks,
that makes
Tyler.
sense. Yep. Thank you very much.
Hey, buddy. Yep. All right. Let's go back to TikTok. The people are waiting. All right. Bickles with Angeline. Well, doesn't that sound fun? My friend submitted an I-360 with 765, 45, I-131, 693 on December 20th last year. He only got prima facie. Will he get receipts for the other forms? I think he might have filed those too early. I don't know if you can concurrently file a 360 with a 45. I don't think you can, so I don't know. Del 633. My landlord has threatened me to report my husband to ICE. What can I do? I don't mean to be flip, but I would move. If this is in Missouri, they're offering bounties for people that turn in undocumented people. Can a U.S. citizen with a felon from 13 years ago still file with a felony from 13 years ago, still file for a green card? So I definitely need to do videos on when the U.S. citizen is a felon, because I've been getting a lot of those questions, and those are tricky. So I will do a video this week on that. It'll probably show up in a week or two. But basically, Casey Pinder, it depends on what the felony was. If it's something involving abuse to women or abuse to children, most likely not. KXM BAM 27. Can a person who illegally entered the U.S. and was deported upon arrival apply for a holiday visa after 20 years? Sure, they can apply, but they probably won't get it. Music fan. We have F4 immigration visa stamp on a passport. Can we safely travel to the U.S. and outside of the U.S.? Yes, but you shouldn't leave until you actually get your green card, music fan. And F4s ask me this all the time because they weren't expecting for it to ever come through, and now it did, and now they got to come to the United States, and it bums them out. Stacy Mitchell, should I be worried if I applied for adjustment before I went out of F1 status with approved work permit? I assume that might be OPT. As long as you applied for adjustment and it was before you were out of status, you should be okay, but it would depend on what kind of adjustment, Stacy, that you're applying for. AKO, can pending asylum without an interview yet apply for the DV lottery, and if I win, adjust status? Jim says yes. Half the USCIS offices in America say yes. The other half of USCIS offices in America say no. Jim is right, as are the offices that say that you can. But if you haven't had an interview, and the key is whether you applied for asylum, were you still in status or not? You know, the tricky thing is you have a year to apply for asylum upon arrival, but if you came on a visit visa and you applied after 7 months, i.e. when you're out of status, then no, you can't adjust. It's not a bridge. Rock says, can you stay in the United States while your adjustment of status is pending on family-based petition? Only if you are an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen. So that is the spouse, under 21-year-old child, or parent of a U.S. citizen. All the other preference categories, you can't wait here unless you have some other way to be here. All right. Yanina's here. Hello. You're on mute. Yanina, are you there? Hello.
Oh, hello. This is Yanina. Is my fiance. My name is Paul. So I can help translate and ask questions. Okay.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Great. So thank you very much for doing the show. I appreciate it greatly. Sure. Here's the story. So myself, I have a green card.
Paul has a green card.
I have a green card, yes.
Yeah.
And so my fiance and our daughter came to the US 2 months ago on U4U program, Uniting for Ukraine. Yeah. They came by car with me, and they put on in removal proceedings on the border. The reason for this was that they were not physically present in Ukraine on February 11th. The residence was in Ukraine, but no physical presence. So we have a court date in 3 weeks in March, beginning of March. They have class of admission DT, like Dog Tango, for 1 year, and they applied for authorization of employment. It looks like my daughter is getting it, but my fiance not yet. So my question is, like, basically we see two routes. One is staying here, perhaps get administrative closure of the case after we get married and adjust the status, or leave, voluntary departure, and do consular proceedings. Am I right, or am I missing something? And what would be the advantage of these two avenues?
So first thing, Paul, is there's no way in hell that you and she and her should be taking advice on a YouTube show about something this complicated. You understand that?
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about some ninja moves. I mean, number one, she's in removal. And yes. My understanding is that the marching orders to the government attorneys are to never agree to administrative closure anymore. Right?
Oh, okay.
So that's not going to happen. And then so we have to ask ourselves, how are they treating? I mean, here's the thing. When did she enter?
December 2nd, 2 months ago. 2024, December 2nd.
So she's entered in the last 2 years.
Yes.
So she wasn't eligible for the Ukraine program. She wasn't paroled in. She's in removal. My understanding of the way they're going to treat her is that she's subjected to expedited removal. They're going to terminate proceedings and kick her out of the country. That's what they say they're doing.
Okay. So maybe better to ask for voluntary departure and go for consular processing and clear history.
Maybe. I mean, you need to talk to a deportation lawyer where your fiance's case is. And of course, you're not even married. So right now there's nothing based on.
Yeah. The case is in Seattle. We are physically in California, but cases in Seattle. That's where we cross the border from Canada.
Okay. So you need to talk to a deportation lawyer. You need to get your case moved from Seattle down to where you live. That might buy you some time. But the idea that you two are going to pull this off, I mean, it's making my head hurt thinking about what options there are for her. This is a really tough case.
Tough case, yeah. Okay, I see. Understand. The way one more like technical question. Like if we go for consular proceedings, as of now, what is the wait time? If it doesn't make sense, I think it's going to be longer probably. But
my brother, in all due respect, you keep talking about consular processing. There's nothing on file. She's years from coming. There's a 3-year backlog on the spouses of green card holders. I don't know. This is a disconnect. You think that consular processing is going to solve the problems you keep throwing out there like that's a solution? That's like the last 5% of all this. That's the easy part. She's got much bigger problems. She's got a deportation court case with a court date coming up.
asking for voluntary departure doesn't include the history. If we ask for voluntary departure, it does not erase, so to speak, the whole issue. If the judge agrees or DHS agrees to our voluntary.
It depends how they classify her. It depends what her paperwork is. I'm going to let you go. The audio is driving me crazy, and I don't think that you're listening to me. So I'm going to go to Ha-Al. Hello, Ha-Al. Ha, are you there? Ha, you're on mute.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you, Jim?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So I have a quick question for you.
Go for it.
My question is, sir, I already came here to the United States as a J1 visa in 2023 at June.
Okay. Yep. J1 visa 2023, June. Got it. Go.
Yes, sir. And I already have a social security number from Virginia. I came out Virginia.
Okay, keep going. Just tell the whole story. Just go.
Okay, and the thing is, I already break my visa in October, so it's expired in October. And then I went to Washington State, Seattle, and I already get a driver license from Washington State, federal limit supply on my social security number. So, and then I travel on it inside United States. Everything's fine with me. But now I would like to travel from here to Virginia with airplane. Is that all right if I can travel with my license, or they gonna find me in the airport and do a case for me and deport me, or I can't travel?
You said you broke your visa in October. What does that mean?
That means like my visa expire in October 2023.
You were supposed to leave?
Yeah.
Why didn't you leave?
I stay here because I'm working. I find a job here with people, and I already find a good job here, so that's why.
That's not a good answer.
Yeah, that's my point, because I didn't leave because I find a job here, find a work, and working. That's it. So that's why I'm saying, making money. That's my story. But the thing is, my question: I can travel now or no?
Okay, so you said your visa ended in October. Do you know when in October?
2023.
October 2023. So you have a 10-year bar now if you leave the United States or if you get caught.
Yeah, I'm trying to travel from Washington State, Seattle to Virginia.
I know you have your question for me, but I have questions for you.
Yes,
like,
sir.
What's your long-term plan?
What do you mean?
You're out of status. You're working without permission. You're like breaking all the laws. So what is your plan?
Yeah, my plan is probably just working, and if I can find, if I can get married or change my status, whatever, if I can do that. But that's my point is now, like, if I can travel from here to Virginia, because my family's there, so I would like to visit them. Probably I'm gonna leave US.
Yeah. Okay. So I did a video last week, and I said, let's talk about all the government buildings that are out there in the United States where there's lots of people checking people's IDs and their immigration status. So we know courthouses, jails, government buildings, and the airport. So I think the airport is a place where they're checking people's immigration status and identity all the time. So I think that's like the last place on earth that you want to go. I don't think you want to. I don't think you want to try and fly.
Okay. So there is no way to go from here to Virginia, right?
Well, that's a different question. Your question to me was, Jim, is it safe for me to go to the airport and fly to Virginia? I think that is not safe.
Okay, and using that any transportation way, like buses or train?
Yeah.
Okay, so and my question also, I have a small question: is I can like do a change of status or whatever, or no?
You're a year out of status. The only thing that would get you back into status at this point is if you married a U.S. citizen and that it was a real marriage, not just to solve your immigration problems.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Good luck, my friend. Yep. I'm sometimes surprised. I mean, I definitely think there are people, I'm not saying this is how Al or anybody, but I think there's definitely people who say, I'm going to get to America and I'm going to work as much as I can and save as much money as I can. And when I go back, I go back. But man, that's a really risky approach to things, because especially now with Trump, but just in general, your options get very narrow very, very quickly. Let's go back to TikTok. All right. Percy and Nala, my asylum court was approved within 10 minutes without questions. Will they interview me on my citizenship in the Army? Hell yes, they will. As I say all the time, they don't like it when the immigration court gives somebody asylum, number one. Number two, they don't feel like they have had the chance to fully vet you. And so they view citizenship as their last chance to either deport you or approve you. So yeah, I think you should be prepared, Percy and Nala, to be able to explain your whole asylum case at your naturalization interview. All right, Alejandro Soto. If you overstayed a visa and you're working, someone calls ICE on you, from 1 to 10, what's the probability that ICE will come for you? Oh, geez. That's a tough question. I would say generally for one person, probably pretty limited. Maybe 2, maybe 3. Maybe 1 before under Biden and maybe 3 now. Apple, husband's case is admin closed. Only option for green card is cancellation of removal. Has permanent bar. That could be. That all sounds possible. I don't know, Apple. I'd have to know more and see more. ZNS says 9 on a scale of 1 to 10. How about that? Let's talk to the lovebirds. Hello, lovebirds.
Hello, Jim. Can you hear us?
How you doing?
Doing well. Happy birthday to your wife and your colleague. All
Thanks
the best.
so much. I appreciate it.
So, I'm visiting my girlfriend on an ESTA visa for a second time. I was here last summer, stayed for 86 days, but I never disclosed the thing that I have a girlfriend because I was visiting also friends. They never asked me, so I never wanted to volunteer that information. And also I was scared that I was being sent back to my home. So yeah, this is my second time here. We were planning to get married in my country, but now we just found out all about this legal stuff and
found out about all this legal stuff.
Yeah, we were so ignorant and naive. We thought that once we get married in my country, we could come here and live without any issues, but that's not the case. So we are planning now to get married and adjust status, and we don't know like what would be the best like time and all the procedures and to apply for advanced parole so I can go back and have a ceremony there with my wife and come back.
Okay. So great. When did you guys first meet?
We met online last year, 2023 December. Then we met in Barcelona February, just like a year ago. 2024. Yeah, 2024.
And then the 87-day trip, when was that?
That was in summer, June.
June to September.
Yeah, June to September, and she came to my country. She stayed with me 1 month.
Nice.
So I visited her family, and she visited my family.
When did you enter this time?
When was 23rd of January, and I was taken to the secondary inspection. And I showed all the pictures that from the summer and all the trips and everything, but they never asked me about the girlfriend, so I never told them, even though the pictures were very clear. So
okay,
yeah, that's my only worry.
As we sit here right now, you don't feel that you lied to them at CBP when you were in secondary inspection?
No, I don't. I don't feel it.
Okay, so January 27th. So
January 23rd.
23rd, and you have 90 days, right, on ESTA?
Yeah, I had return ticket to go back in February for my father's birthday, but now once we realized that I won't be able to come back, then we decided to get married.
And you haven't gotten married yet because of all this.
No, we haven't.
All this legal stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear you out on all this legal stuff. That's gonna be. I'm gonna say it forever. All right. So if you were to get married after March 23rd, but before you leave in April, if you were to get married, and your lovebird partner filed an I-130 petition for you, you could file for a 485 and advance parole and a work card. But what I always tell people in this situation is that you're bubble boy or bubble girl. You're sort of up on the shelf, and you can't really work, you can't really leave, because you can't file before March 23rd. Then once you file, it's probably going to be 6 or 8 months before you get advanced parole. And some people never even get advanced parole, right? So they get their green card before ever getting advanced parole. So you could get it really quickly in 2 or 3 months, or you could get it in a year and a half. It's just, there's no way to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the big wedding in Barcelona, I say don't even start thinking about that until you get his status cleared up.
One more question about work. I'm self-employed in the UK, so I work remotely. So, is that legal, or I should stop doing that?
Well, as I say all the time, our nation's immigration laws have not been updated since the 1990s. So in the 1990s, somebody from Barcelona couldn't work remotely and be self-employed in England and be living in America, right? So the rule is that you're not supposed to work a job in America. So, I leave that to you. But what I will say is that if you are working without permission and you're married to a U.S. citizen and you disclose all that, it would be forgiven, because that's forgiven when you're married to a U.S. citizen.
Okay. Well, thank you a lot. And thank you very much for answers.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. I think we got time for one more. Let's go to John Doe. Hello, John. I have filed many lawsuits on behalf of John Doe. Hello.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. So I have a question about my green card case. It's for an EB2 with
EB2.
consular processing.
NIW?
No, with a sponsorship from one employer.
Great.
Yeah. So beginning of January, me and my spouse got documentarily complete, and beginning of March, we're gonna have our interview at the consulate.
Great.
But the thing is that she's going to be 35 weeks pregnant at the time of the interview.
Oh, wow.
And we are a bit worried that we heard that if between the time we have the interview and the visa is issued, if the baby gets born, then we could not take the baby with us, of course. And, and of course, that's something we don't want to happen.
Yeah. What embassy?
Should I say the country or the?
Yeah. Tell me the country.
Romania.
Okay, so that's good. So that is not a very busy consulate. I would try to start reaching out to them and see if there's a way that they could move your appointment forward. They might not, but it's worth trying, because
So
you're right.
Today, and I did not ask to move it forward because our attorneys told us that that's not something that could happen.
Oh, it can happen. Yeah.
But
It's
they So I asked how fast do we usually get? Do they usually issue the immigrant visa? And they said a few days.
How many?
A few days. Not they didn't say exactly how many, but they said a few days.
Okay, but can you even? I just
non-immigrant visas that a lot of my friends got them recently in 2 days.
Can you get on a plane when you're 35 weeks pregnant?
So most companies allow us until 37.
Okay.
But the thing is that we know that if we get the visa before the baby is born, we can fly with the baby without a visa, just with passport and birth certificate.
Wait, say that again.
So if the visa is issued and after that the baby is born, we can fly with the baby to the US without a visa.
Who told you that?
The embassy, and I also found it in the how was it called, the two official documents.
I don't know if that's true. That's news to me.
Yeah, even so even also my attorneys confirmed that, and the embassy today.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know about that, but if that's true, that'd be great.
Yeah. It's the FAMA, something like that, if I remember correctly.
The Field Adjudicator's Manual. Okay, great. So what's your question for me?
So do you think that if they told us that they will give us the visa in a few days, that's actually going to happen, or is there a chance to get administrative processing or something?
I'll tell you what I'll say is, in my whole experience suing the shit out of embassies for administrative processing and from hearing complaints about people in administrative processing, none of those have ever involved Romania.
Okay. Does it matter that my spouse is from a different country?
It might make it harder for them. It might make it more likely she ends up in administrative processing. My man David's agreeing with me that you need a visa for the baby. I'm almost sure that you need a visa for the baby. So again, I would do everything I could to move that interview forward if you can. I think that's your best bet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah. But if not, do you recommend we still go to it or postpone it?
No, go. Just keep everything moving. Always do the next right thing. I got to go, John Doe. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. See ya. David's always giving me good advice. Thank you, David. Nobody asked me what I got Amani for her birthday. Can anybody guess? Nobody guessed. I got Amani a new bicycle up the street from our friends at Billy Goat Bikes. It's a pretty cool little bike. I'll send you guys a picture. I'll be back tomorrow. Let's see what time tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, same time. Tomorrow at noon Central. No, that's not going to work. No, tomorrow we'll do it at what's that? Tomorrow we'll do it at 10:30. That's weird. Who moved it? 10:30 tomorrow. 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. We'll do our show. We'll be back for another hour of immigration fun with your buddy Jim Hacking. Everybody have a great night. And gosh, there's no football until August. How about that? Here come not on an electric bike. We're not that old yet, Tony. Pitchers and catchers report in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Nurse Laura, thanks for moderating. I appreciate you and Robert and everybody else keeping the trolls at bay. Be gone, Satan.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. But yeah, right now, I mean,